Hello students, welcome to the next part of class 10 plus 2 physics. We are continuing with the chapter electric potential. Today we are going to deal with electric potential due to a uniformly charged thin spherical shell. If you remember, in Gauss theorem chapter, we found the electric field due to a thin spherical shell using Gauss theorem at three different observational points. One inside the shell, second on the surface of the shell, and also at a point outside the shell. Similarly over here we have this thin spherical shell such that its center lies at the origin of the coordinate system OXY. Q is the total charge which is distributed uniformly on the outer surface of the shell, and capital R is the radius of the shell. So three cases arises where we want to find out the value of the electric potential. First case, when the observation point P lies outside the shell. So in this case, this is the shell, P is the observation point which is present at distance R from the center of the shell. So in this case, the value of the electric potential at the faraway point from the center of the shell, it will be equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R. You can see that this is nothing but the expression for electric potential due to a single point charge. Why we have used the expression in case of a thin spherical shell? Reason is that when the observation point P lies at a distance greater than the radius of the shell, in that case from the observation point, if we look at the shell, then the whole of the shell will appear to be a very body of very small size. That means a sphere of very small size, such that the whole of the charge Q will appear to be concentrated at the center of the shell. So in that case we are using the electric potential expression due to a single point charge. Similarly, if we shift this observation point over here, that is on the surface of the shell, then only one change will be there, that the radius of the shell will become equal to the distance between observation point and the center of the shell. So just replacing R with capital R, the value of potential on the shell surface is 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R, such that now small r is equal to capital R. And finally, when we bring the point P inside the shell, in case of electric field, we know that because there is no electric charge present inside the shell, so electric field inside the shell is also zero. So we can argue that electric potential must also be zero inside the shell. Remember, existence of electric field in a certain region is not a pre-requirement for the existence of electric potential also in that particular region. So that means electric potential can exist also in those regions where electric field does not exist. So electric potential can exist also in those regions where the electric field is zero. You have to remember the regions where the electric field is existing, then due to the variation of the electric field from one point to another, there exists a potential difference. That is, potential changes from point to point. But the regions where the electric field is zero, potential in those regions is constant. That means there is no variation in the electric potential. So potential inside the shell is constant everywhere, and the potential at any point inside the shell, it will be given by the same expression 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R. Why this is constant when the field is zero, that we will see in some other article. If we sketch the graphical variation of electric potential right from the interior of the shell onto the surface of the shell to any other exterior point, then this is the variation of electric potential with the distance. This is the shell, this is the center of the shell. So this is a sketch between the electric potential and the distance right from its center to a faraway point. Plus R and minus R, they indicate the two extreme radii in the positive x-axis, negative x-axis. So as long as we are present inside the shell from one diametric end to other diametric end, the value of the electric potential remains constant, but it becomes also maximum, same as that of the potential present on the surface of the shell, as we just moved out immediately due to 1 by r dependence. Potential immediately starts decreasing and it is going to get 0. So this curve only at infinite distance from the shell, so the curve will meet x-axis only at the infinity. So this is the variation of the electric potential with the distance. Now let's study about the electric potential due to an electric dipole. First we are finding electric potential at the axial point of electric dipole. So this is an electric dipole with minus and plus q charge. Total distance between the two charges is 2L, such that distance from center to either charge is equal to L. P is our observation point, which is present at a distance r from the center of the electric dipole. P is the point where we want to find out the electric potential. We know that electric potential is a scalar quantity, so we are just going to find electric potential at this point due to positive q charge and also due to minus q charge at the P. Then because it is scalar quantity, we are just going to add the two values in order to get the total potential, for which we are going to make use of a expression for electric potential due to a single charge. The distance between plus q charge and the observation point P is r minus L. This total distance is r. This distance between O to A is L. So this much distance is equal to r minus L. If we look at the distance of negative charge to P, then this distance is already r. This distance is L. So total distance is r plus L. So potential at the point P due to plus q charge is V plus equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q over AP. AP is equal to r minus L. So it is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q over r minus L. Similarly, if we write the expression for potential at P due to minus charge, it will be V negative equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q by BP, which is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q over r plus L. Look at this negative sign. Because potential is a scalar quantity, you have to include negative or positive sign in the expression of potential accordingly if the charge is positive or negative. So net potential at the point P, it will be V total equal to the sum of charge potential due to positive charge and negative charge, which is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q by r minus L plus 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q over r plus L with the negative sign. You can clearly see q over 4 pi epsilon naught is a common factor. We can take it outside. So we are left with 1 over r minus L minus 1 over r plus L. So if we solve it, then we get q over 4 pi epsilon naught 2L over r square minus L square. And q into 2L is nothing but the dipole moment of the electric dipole. So electric potential at the observation point is P over 4 pi epsilon naught r square minus L square. So you can clearly see that for a single point charge, potential depends inversely on the first power of the distance, but for electric dipole it depends upon the second power of the distance. If we have a short dipole such that value of r is far much greater than L, we can neglect the value of L in the denominator, then total potential will be P over 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Last, we are finding the potential at the equatorial point of the electric dipole. So this is an electric dipole with minus and plus charge at point A and B. O is the center of the dipole. Distance of either charge from the center is L again. P is the observation point which is lying at the perpendicular bisector at a distance r away from the origin. Using Pythagoras theorem, we can easily find that the distance AP or BP is simply equal to r square plus L square under the root. So P is the point at which we want to find out the electric potential. Without solving, we can easily say that electric potential at the point P will be equal to 0. Reason? Both charges are of same magnitude and the distance of both the charges from the observation point is also same, r square plus L square under the root. This means that potential of both the charges at the point P will also be same, but for positive charge it will be positive and negative charge it will be negative. So if we add the two, net potential should come out to be equal to 0. So potential due to plus charge at the P, it is equal to V plus Q over 4 pi epsilon naught 1 over r square plus l square under root. Due to minus charge at P, it is V negative equal to minus Q over 4 pi epsilon naught r square plus l square. So the total potential is Vt equal to V plus V minus equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught difference of 1 over r square plus l square minus 1 over r square plus l square, which is equal to 0. Thus we see that electric potential due to electric dipole is non-zero only in case of axial line, but for case of equatorial line it is always equal to 0. Thank you.